sometimes you step into something in life because it's calling you and you think, oh, I'm stepping into this for this reason or that or whatever. But sometimes that's something an add-on from our mind. Sometimes all life is doing is showing you with like a flash of, oh, I'd love to do this thing, painting, or I'd love to sit and meditate, or I'd love to go for walks, or I'd love to do YouTube videos, whatever it is. And then your mind likes to add on, because if I do that, then I'll become good at it, and then I'll be able to do this with it. It likes to have this goal and this purpose, this meaning to it. Whereas your heart, your emotions, your spirit might want to just experience it and just have the joy of it and just take that step. Because very often what we do is, like, if we don't see where that step is leading, or if it's a little bit scary to do that step, then very often we hold ourselves back. And then other things might not be working out in life and go like, why don't I ever get opportunities? Why don't I get chances? Why is my life not flowing? But we don't realize that those callings to take those steps are actually life's way of saying, step here, trust me, step here, and you'll access more of yourself. And then the journey can begin to become more of yourself, or to be more of yourself, and you don't know where it's going to lead. So our rational mind likes to know, but our rational mind can only sort of think in a very one-dimensional, linear way often, and think, well, this has got to, can only see certain options as outcomes. But it doesn't realize that, let's say you're inspired to meditate, and you meditate and you go like, oh, I don't know how this is going to lead me to a more expanded life, or more abundant, or whatever, more empowered. But then suddenly you find yourself meditating everywhere, you become more peaceful. One day you find yourself meditating in the park, you sit next to someone, you have a conversation with them, and that leads to something else. And before you know, they want to also meditate, and then you end up starting a meditation group. And then, so sometimes we don't know the steps of something. So for me, reflecting on doing these little videos, of course, life's saying to me, do these little videos because you love sharing, and I do. And I always have so much inspiration about things that I can share about. So there's an endless supply. There's more inspiration than I would be able to post, because I can't put more than one post up at a time, and so I sort of bank them up and I write them down, and then maybe for 3-4 days I get distracted with life, or not distracted, but life's calling me in different directions, so I do that, and then I might not post for a few days. So, but if I had no other distractions, I could just keep flowing, because I love the flowing of it. But I'm also starting to see now that there's a lot more in it for me. It's the process itself that seems to be important. So like I've mentioned in my other little video, I'm not really after creating a big channel or becoming well known or anything like that. It's more the process itself seems to be important to me, which is why I have the bar so low on, as long as it's joyful for me, and even if every now and then I reach one person that benefits from it, then that's great. It's a very low bar. And I do that on purpose, so I really keep appreciating what I'm doing just for the sake of it. If I focus on likes or subscriptions or whatever, I'm going to become insecure, lose momentum, or not enjoy it, because it becomes about the other and their reactions to it too much. So I noticed that what the process is doing, and why I'm sharing this is because, everybody will have those things that they're being called to in life, and not understand the benefits until they do it. So hopefully through me stepping into this and actually sharing, it will inspire other people to do the same for themselves. So one thing I'm noticing is that I first had to step through this fear of being seen, a fear of being seen for who I truly am. And what if people see me and they reject me, or they don't like what I'm saying, because I realize a lot of people have different belief systems, different way of seeing things, or a different way of experiencing things. And I was afraid of bumping into that, because ever since I was young, I've learned that I need to be good and easy and not too much, even though that's hard because I've got quite an intense kind of personality. We all do in my family. That means I was always trying to water myself down, make myself invisible, not cause any confrontation, not ever make anybody feel uncomfortable. And so being my real self was really hard, because if you're never trying to upset anyone, and if you're doing that by not really being yourself, then who are you? You're just always then monitoring everyone around you and feeling what they need and what they can handle and what they so and then this mind, of course, is saying, yeah, but if you just always who you're overwhelming them, and you'll be too much or whatever. And so there's obviously there's extremes. I don't think we want to have I don't think we want to suppress ourselves so we're not ourselves. And I also don't think we want to have no filter at all and just overwhelm others with ourselves. We need to manage that and master that, but in a way where we can still be authentic. And that takes practice. And if you're always hiding in the shadows, you don't get that practice. And if you're someone that always has no filters, you get that side, and then you have to practice, where do I put boundaries and how can I hold my center more? So anyway, one thing I'm noticing is that that was a step I had to go through. It took me maybe 3 years of sitting on the idea of doing little videos before I was able to step through that. So I had to work on lots of layers of self-love, self-acceptance, working with my fears. Not that I realized it was all trying to get myself to be able to do this, but this is like, it would trigger me. Like I would want to do little videos, I'd write down ideas, but I'd never do them, and I'd put them away, and then I'd be working on myself. Then it would come up again. I might do videos. I started doing videos for friends and family, and that would bring up things sometimes. I had to really get used to seeing myself in front of the camera, seeing myself, because you're confronted with yourself. Like now I see myself as I'm recording this, and so I would see, oh my gosh, I look like this, or I seem like that, or how do they see me? How does my family, how did my family see me, or my friends see me as I'm doing the recordings? And it was all increasing. So it's not about the YouTube video. That's what I'm trying to say. It's about what the process has been doing for me. So it's been helping me access more and more self-love, more and more self-acceptance, more and more feeling safe, feeling safe to be myself and show myself, and so allowing myself to sit with that vulnerable feeling. And I've had videos, especially when my cousin can vouch for this, where I've sent something and then I'd go erase, because I suddenly go into fear. And funny enough, very often, because this is on WhatsApp, very often they would erase for me but not for her, and so then she could still see them. But that was really valuable, because I learned to move through those uncomfortable feelings. And now I don't. If I send something and I feel like, oh, I want to erase that, I just sit with it and sit with the fear and go like, no, it's okay. It's all right. Because you're all these different parts of yourself. You're all these different moments. And you're not always the same. And we shouldn't have to be. We're not perfect, and we shouldn't have to be. We do our best. I'm sure we're all doing our best in our own way to try and be the best we can be, or try to be supportive and loving towards others, or be honest. And sometimes we get it right, and sometimes we don't, and anywhere in between. And that's okay, It's learning about being okay to be who you are. And so what I'm noticing is that I'm becoming more relaxed. I've noticed that my body is starting to flow as I talk, which means I'm relaxed, and something in me is flowing, the energy of my body. It's like an energy signature. Everybody has their own ways, their own movements, their own language, their own tone of voice. And yeah, and it's nice, it's really nice to be able to feel that I'm becoming more myself. So yeah, I think that's the greatest thing. I'm enjoying the sharing. I'm enjoying flowing. I'm enjoying feeling more okay just with, like, also I noticed that sometimes in the beginning I wanted to edit or leave things out, and now I think like, no, this is just it. I'm not an editing person. I'm never gonna want to create glossy, fully edited, beautifully lit videos, because for me it's just about the flowing and the sharing, and it's not really about the end product being a certain look. So, and to be honest, personally, I like it. I admire beautifully made little videos, but I also really love, so I'm just looking at the time, realizing it's already 10 minutes for this video. I really love seeing authentic videos myself, people just sharing and just being this. It's like you get a sense of them, you get to share in their energy, and it's really lovely. So for me, if I have some people I'm subscribed to, I'll just grab my cup of coffee or a cup of tea, and I'll enjoy seeing them and hearing them and sharing them a little bit, you know. You get to feel, you get to know them a little bit. So anyway, that was my musings about sharing who you truly are and stepping into things. So if life's calling you, maybe feel into it, you know. Where am I being asked to step in? Even if you don't understand it, if it gives you joy, do it. You know, if it gives you a sense of, yeah, happiness, and you'll find that you'll come more and more to yourself, but also that it will lead you to the next step, and that will lead you to the next step, and that will lead you to the next step. And you got to back yourself. Even if other people don't, you know, if someone turns away from you, I'll do a whole other video on that. Or if they don't like it, just see that it's their thing, and then think, oh, maybe somewhere I'm not backing myself, or I'm not supporting of myself, or see if you're doing that to yourself, maybe somewhere, just gently. Don't take on all this guilt and whatever, just so you can let the other people go and sit with it and think, does it feel resonate with me or not? And if it doesn't, let it go. If it does, you go, oh, thank you for that reflection, and you can take it on and move on. So anyway, everything's good. Thank you for listening to this sharing, and yeah, I hope you're all having a wonderful day. See ya.